Hi, Kurt. Hi, Seth. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello. We have some things to talk about in this midweek update. Uh, we're really moving along through Advent now, and so we have a number of things that we want to highlight and a few things we want to remind you about, maybe a few fresh things to share as well. As we look toward this coming Sunday, which is December 13th, uh, I was thinking about the worship experience that we're having, and I just wanted to kind of mention how appreciative I am of the people who have been giving their Advent reflections in answer to the question, how does the light come into the world, or how does the light come into the world again? And we had Dan Poole, we had Virginia Rendler, and this Sunday we have Pam Higgins.
Hmm.
And then the other piece of that is the Advent song that's come, that's followed each of those reflections week by week with a chorus and then a different verse each time. And I asked whether, Seth, you and Amy could talk a little bit about kind of what collaboration has looked like for that song and just a little maybe backstage view of what you've been working at.
Yeah, uh, it's been really good to hear those reflections as well each week, um, paired with this, and really just how how this how this has evolved, and the collaborative process has sort of taken shape initially with just the idea of having a reoccurring song each week. I think that's something that Manchester has done in the past, and certainly um, when Kurt and David and I were talking about a reoccurring song, it just it sort of seemed like, oh, maybe we could really pair something nice that went with the thematic elements each week that we were using in worship. And um, so that's sort of where it evolved initially into. Um, I went back and sort of wrote this refrain, nothing else really with it, and then just sort of invited um, David into the process, and he took it on and wrote a lovely verse last week in worship to pair with it. Um, and each week, the material from the verses have emerged, obviously out of some of the themes and some of the things in your sermons, and then just I was reading some reflections that Amy had written on Facebook, and just really appreciative of the way that you're putting words together, and thought, boy, this would be fun to bring someone else into this creative process. Um, and David and I have written songs together, and we have done that. But just was good. It was really great to bring your voice in, and you've sort of. I wasn't even sure when we left us. I don't even know if I've explained enough to give you exact. What's going to be waiting in my inbox. Is this going to work? How do these? How will this come together? And I don't know if you want to share at all about your process in that, Amy.
Sure. I'm not a songwriter, but I'm a student of theopoetics, and I like to write, and I like a good meaty writing prompt. And so each week I have just taken the text for the week and then just sort of free write and see what comes up. And then there's a little bit of editing that happens, but I'm basically writing a prayer or a blessing or a psalm or whatever it is that you want to call it. And what's really fun is then sending it off to you and David, and knowing that you might pick a little phrase out of it. You might find nothing there that is moving within you, but it's so freeing to be part of the collaborative process that way, to just be able to offer it to you and then see what comes up. And every Sunday it's a surprise to me, but it's a great honor to get to work with you and David.
Yeah.
And one of the nice things, Seth, that you've been doing now is posting those reflections, the spoken reflections paired with the verse, the chorus and the verse for that week. You've been posting those to YouTube. So people can go back and visit those afterwards.
Yeah.
And Amy, you may share some of your writings, because we're not, if we get just a phrase or a few words, we're not getting the whole benefit of what you're offering.
Yeah. It'll be like a, Advent 2020. We'll need to have like a bonus features disc there.
Part of,
Those added.
part of the reason I wanted to bring this up is because, as I was saying to the two of you before we started recording, we tend to talk about event, like this is what's happening, this is what we're planning. But there's this really interesting dynamic that goes on, especially when we're talking about worship, with music, with words, with prayers, with different people's ideas. And this, I think of it as sort of the spirit at work among us. There's this really nice, I guess dynamic is a good word for it. And so I wanted people to have a little glimpse of that and a little background with that. Also this coming Sunday, Amy, do you want to talk a little bit about the Advent breakout group for the Zoom call?
Yes, we'll be on our third Sunday in Advent reflection breakout group. It's been a good experience for folks. It's very reflective, starting with a short video and then just seeing what rises in people. And so this Sunday it's called Undoing Wrath. And it will be in the same sort of vein as the other two Sundays.
Okay, great. And then looking a week out to December the 20th, Seth, you wanted to talk about the special program in the evening for December 20th.
Yes. So just wanted to again put that on your calendar on the 20th at 6:30 p.m. And there's going to be sort of a couple ways that you can experience it. One is to encourage you to get on a Zoom call and be a part of some of the interactive pieces and being able to laugh together and sharing some of that stuff in real time on the Zoom call. But if you would prefer to not be on Zoom, and you could just watch it through YouTube, it'll stream the Zoom call so that you could watch, like maybe you watch worships or this midweek update, so you could watch it that way. And of course you could obviously watch it then after it's been recorded at a time that works for you. So a couple different ways to share in that offering. And then I wanted to make a couple of notes about the program. So the title is The Sounds and Tastes. And we have been putting together the sounds portion. We will not be able to have the normal taste portion after the program. So we're just going to ask you to provide the taste portion. Maybe when you get on the Zoom call or when you're watching, maybe bring your favorite holiday treat or something, or do a little bit of baking before the 20th if you haven't already, and bring that with you to enjoy during the program. So that's one thing. The second is, if you would like to be a part of the program and you haven't already shared something, or I haven't reached out and there's something, please contact me and let me know here within the next couple of days. Things are filling up, but if you want to be part of the program, there's going to be some opportunities for everyone to sort of be a part of it if they choose to, and some of the interactive elements, if you're interactive pieces, if you're on the Zoom call. So, and then the last thing I'll say about that is we're going to do a couple of segments that we could use your photos and images and your creativity. We want a picture of the festive lights that you have around or in your home. It could be a shot outside of lights that you have, or your mantle, or your Christmas tree, or something, some kind of shot of festive lights in your home. And if you would, you can either email those to me or text them to me, or you could send them to Kayla, like you often have in past projects like this. So asking for your photos of festive lights, particularly yours that we can identify with your name. So
Well, that's great that you're asking for photos of festive lights, but maybe I should also mention as we go toward Christmas Eve, we're also asking for photos of people with their Advent candle or a candlelight picture. And so we're talking about different things that we're asking for. So when you send in a picture, you might make a little note which picture you which one you want it to be. But as we look toward Christmas Eve, we want to have a collage, a video collage of pictures of people with their, especially with your Advent candles lit. So you in the picture with your Advent candles, we're going to use those near the beginning of the service. Seth's going to make one of the videos that you've seen him make before that has pictures and music behind it. So that's at the beginning of the service. And then at the end of the service, we'll have the Joy to the World virtual congregational song. And if you haven't yet signed up for that, you could still do that. We'll be glad for you to let us know you're interested, and we'll send you the information that you need and the material that you need. And then also, if you've already signed up, get singing, because they're wanting our tracks. Like I told you last week, I did my practice run. I didn't like the way it sounded. I got rid of it. So I haven't done it since. It's sort of getting away from me. So if you're like me, find a quiet spot and a few minutes to work on that and get that sent in so that they can start to build that Joy to the World virtual congregational song that's going to go at the end of the Christmas Eve service. Christmas Eve will be really nice. We'll have a number of people recording their scripture readings. We'll have the pastors doing some parts of the service. We'll have music, and we'll have the candle lighting and the pictures. And so I think it's going to feel like us and what we do. And there'll be some touches that will really feel good, even though it's virtual, it's live stream, and it's not in person. Anything else that you think of you wanted to pitch in about Christmas Eve?
oh, I would just say, and I'll put these in the notes as well of this when this email goes out with the update. But two distinguishing, or just a distinguishing thing between the two picture projects. The festive lights for the sounds and taste. We don't want to see your face in that. We want to see the lights, but what we're going to do with it is going to work better if we don't see you and identify you directly with the. So we don't want to see your face for that one, but we really want to see your face for the ones for Christmas Eve. So
Right.
if you're having questions between the two projects, there's just a little thing to distinguish them.
Good. Thanks. Anything else that we want to touch on? There's lots of things going on. Please be in touch with us if you have questions. There's
Yeah.
information in the newsletter that is helpful. Save your email so you have the button to access different places where you need to connect or to offer something. That's probably about all I can say about that.
I would just remind us to have all of our wrapped presents for the angel tree in on Friday. We have a lovely pile growing behind Kayla's desk. Thank you for your generosity. But Friday's the day.
Oh, good. Thank you for that reminder. As we come to a close, we thought maybe Amy could share some of her reflections, in particular for this Sunday upcoming.
Mm-hmm. So just a caveat, this is a rough writing and I haven't read through it again to really edit it, but it's based on Isaiah 61. And it's called Newsboys. Oh God, you cry, extra, extra, read all about it, with the voice of the small boy in knee pants and cap, making a pence, a farthing, a thin dime with each hand that grabs the headlines to be read leisurely over coffee. With the voice of the small, you roust the proud, the wrongdoers, those that rob what belongs to another. With the voice of the small, you shout the good news that we all matter, that nothing else matters, not our striving, our possessions, our urgent climb to the top to plant our flag before anyone else can. We all are rising. And those that rise from ages of being below, once they understand, will lend a hand to those rising after being thrust off their own illusions, landing dirtied, dirtier than the small boys in knee pants, calling for their awakening.
It's good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, everyone, for listening in.
Mm-hmm. We'll see you Sunday.